TV to social media, it seems images of peaceful and sometimes destructive protesting over the death of George Floyd are absolutely everywhere. So the question this morning is, how do you talk to your child about the current events? How do you talk to your child about racism? Health psychologist Lori Stivic-Rust is with us now to talk about those situations. Lori, good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Wayne. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Love having you. Let's just jump right in it. You have a child at home, a small child, and they're watching TV, and they see the protesting, and then they see the fires and the police presence and all of that. How do you talk to them?
So I think the first thing is, when we know about children is they need two things. They need to be reassured that they themselves are safe, and they need to be reassured that they can safely talk about what they're seeing and how they're feeling. They need to be heard. So if we use that kind of as the framework for our conversation this morning and our conversation with our children, and we keep those two things in mind, everything we say and we do should be centered around how do we reassure them that we're doing everything we can to keep them safe, and how do we open up a conversation with them that their questions, their concerns, their fears are not put to the side like, don't worry about that, honey, that's for grown-ups. It's important that we listen and we ask questions more than we respond, and we use the words accurately. Sometimes as parents we think about soft pedaling the words, but racism is the word they're hearing, and racism is the word that we should be using in dialogue.
All right, let's talk about that racism. Now, say for instance you're a white parent. How do you talk to your child about racism and that type of thing, the stuff that's going on right now?
Well, I think the first place as parents is remembering that children pay more attention to how we are behaving, the tone of our household. They're watching for the subtle messages that we're sending them more than they're listening to our direct dialogue. So the first place as a parent in all things is we do our own gut check. We need to take a deep dive when it comes to racism, particularly as a white mother, to look at where is my hidden bias? Where are the things that I need to take a deeper look at myself and think about how I might be sending inadvertent messages to my children about superiority and division, because we all are capable of that. I think the word white, when we think about being racist, the reaction is a gut reaction, right? Nobody wants to think about themselves as being a racist, because good, kind-hearted people don't want to believe that we have the ability to have beliefs about races and differences and superiority and all of that.
I keep hearing the word.
But as a parent, we have to be able to do our own work
in
order to create a household with the right kind of dialogue to raise our children to see people as equal.
I keep hearing the word implicit bias. What actually is that?
Well, I think we have this unconscious bias. There might be people who say, I absolutely agree that we're all created equal, and I don't see color, and I don't see differences. And I think that's our way of saying we don't want to accept the fact that we've been raised and been in a culture for so long that the hidden, soft, subtle beliefs that come up for us, that we have to do a gut check on what is our bias around that. Why do I believe that this is happening, or what are my thoughts and feelings about why I feel that way? Why am I afraid of having relationships across races? Why do I struggle with X, Y, and Z? So I think our unconscious bias isn't the blatant, I think I'm superior because I'm white. It's the unconscious things that we have to pay closer attention to and do our own deep conversations with ourselves, maybe professionally, maybe learning and educating ourselves about where does our soft, subtle bias sit? Because that is the real seed of where we have to eradicate to really have some social justice and reform.
Dr. Lori, we're running out of time, but talk real quickly about your webinar.
So we're doing a webinar on Monday night at 8 o'clock. You have to register, so I know you're going to pop the information up there on the screen.
Yeah, you're right.
I will be hosting Dr. Deborah Plummer, who is a nationally recognized diversity thought leader, professor, psychologist, researcher, to help us learn more about how to become an anti-racist. When we all say, gosh, I don't know how to help, particularly as a white woman, how do I know how to step into these conversations? How can I be part of the solution? She's going to be providing us some guidance and strategies to help us do that work for ourselves and for our communities.
Dr. Lori Stivic-Rust, thank you so much for your time this morning and for your insight.
Thank you so much, Wayne. You have a good day.
You as well. Thank you.